good old goodie and an oldie at the same time, but very good. I haven't heard that song in a while. I had to play that as a nice little throwback here. It is Overtime with your host, Shane DiMaio, every Tuesday, usually from 12:30 to 3 today, 1 to 2, a special hour edition. Nice little short show. We're going to get to a lot of things today. Stunning revelation, UN reports on crime by North Korea government. The United Nations panel's revelations of crimes by the regime of Kim Jong-un brings comparison to the Nazis. The UN Commission of Inquiry on Human Rights in North Korea says the country's leaders use murder, torture, slavery, sexual violence, mass starvation, and other abuses as a tool to prop up the state. Widespread abuses are meant to terrorize, quote, the population into submission. The UN report warns Kim Jong-un that he could be prosecuted. The group will refer to its findings to the International Criminal Court. Panel members trace abuses directly to the highest levels of the North Korean government. At the same time, they blame world leaders for sitting on their hands. The North Korean government rejects the report as an effort to undermine it. In severe turbulence, 5 people aboard jet are sent to a hospital. In the western U.S., severe turbulence aboard a commercial jet sends 5 to the hospital. Turbulence occurs during a United Airlines flight from Denver to Billings, Montana. 3 crew members and 2 passengers were injured. All have been released except for a flight attendant. The FAA says the captain declared a medical emergency as the Boeing 737 approached Billings. One passenger told KTVQ TV that the plane dropped sharply without warning as it began descent into Billings. He said that one woman hit the ceiling so hard that it cracked the panel above her head. United says there were 114 passengers and 5 crew members aboard the jet. So luckily, only a select few injured minorly in that case, and a close call for this asteroid that misses Earth by 2 million miles. It's a close call between an asteroid and Earth. An asteroid estimated to be the size of 3 football fields rips past our planet at a speed of 27,000 miles per hour. It missed Earth by about 2 million miles. The incident comes about a year after an asteroid blew up over Russia. The 60-foot space rock entered the Earth's atmosphere and exploded with the force of around 30 early nuclear bombs. The blast left more than 1,500 injured, mostly by glass from shattered windows. So close call there. And of course, we have to get to this. The messy commute for more snow dropping on the Northeast. East commuters are facing a messy drive to work this morning. That was earlier this morning. In New York City, snow began to fall at 5 a.m. and is not expected to let up, and did finally this afternoon. The storm is expected to drop as much as 5 inches on parts of New England. The system will likely not leave Maine until late this afternoon. The afternoon drive in Boston will be slick. According to the Weather Channel, another system is expected to hit the east tomorrow. Yay. That's my editorialize there, but will likely be rain. After that, warmer temperatures should mean a snow-free period for the region until next week at least. And if you look up your weather conditions, it says coming soon to the Staten Island, New York area, around 45 degrees temperatures, 50 degrees. So that's very promising. Precipitation, not good anytime. If it's rain, I'll take that at this point. And lastly, for your top stories, had enough. 3,000 Americans renounced citizenship in 2013. 3,000 people decided they have had enough of America. According to CNN Money, 3,000 Americans last year went to embassies around the world to renounce their citizenship. The numbers for 2013 are triple the average for the previous 5 years. Some of the people giving up their citizenship are expats who are tired of dealing with complicated tax filings. Unlike most countries, the U.S. taxes citizens on all income, regardless of where it is earned or where they reside. Renunciations have increased following the implementation of a new disclosure law, the Foreign Account Tax Compliance Act, that targets overseas tax evasions. That is your top stories in the news for today here at WSIA Staten Island, 88.9 FM, your host Shane DiMaio for Overtime Radio. Now we want to get into, of course, the trade rumor mill here, time of the season after the NBA All-Star break, something we didn't get to talk about on our usual Monday night show occupied by myself, Shane Blackburn, and Chris Scott every Monday night here from 7 to 9 p.m. on WSIA 88.9 FM. And we called some games last night, actually just a women's game against Rutgers Raptors, which was a very, very entertaining game. I had the pleasure of doing color commentary for that game alongside of Shane Blackburn. A great game by 2 amazing scorers, the point guard Galindez and the shooting Gravenese shooting guard there for that team, combining 49 points last night as the CSI Dolphins women's team fell victim to a bad loss, and this team for the Rutgers Raptors were 0-17 in their conference alone. 4-1 outside the conference, which this game was, but when you're 0-17, I wouldn't be too sure of a loss coming into that game for a good record for the CSI Ladies Dolphins, but no one could really get on track there. As you saw, Hepworth went out of the game with a knee injury late in that second half, the knee that she previously had a brace on for injuring last season. She said she would be fine post-game after commenting with Shane Blackburn at the scores table, but rough loss for that team. Coach Tim Shanahan was extremely upset during that game. But we got a couple of games on the schedule for today. Looking to make up for last night's loss, they're going to be versing with Medgar Evans College at 5:30 p.m. That game will be here on campus, and I will be calling that game alongside Chris Scott doing the play-by-play. That game should be engineered by our great engineer, Ish, from WSIA Staten Island, and most likely our social media contributor there with Danielle Peranio helping out alongside us as well. And then the men's game will follow right after that at around 7 o'clock, 7:30, after game time of the women's game against the same college. And it should be also another very good game there for the men's team that has an amazing record, first, and as reported by our former anchor here at WSIA, Chris Soriano, saying that they are now ranked 21st in the nation for NCAA third division there in college hoops. So good news there. Both games you can catch here on WSI Staten Island 88.9 FM, and we'll have the call for you there. But getting back to the NBA and Rajon Rondo to the New York Knicks, it seems as if the Knicks are the ones who engaged the Celtics in a possible trade scenario for Rajon Rondo. It looks like, preliminarily speaking, it'll have to be 2 unprotected first-round picks for Rajon Rondo to leave the state and come into New York to play for the New York Knicks. Now, the Knicks have been hungry for Rondo for a long time now. They haven't had a point guard who can consistently dominate basically since, the days of, I don't even know. I mean, let's go back in time here. The Knicks have never really been point guard oriented. I mean, when Felton first came in, he was, a solid contributor 2 years ago with Amari Stoudemire running a pick and roll, and now he's gained some weight. He's slow on defense. He can't cover any other point guard in the league, and it's becoming a big problem for the New York Knicks. So making this trade, a lot of people want to see it get done. I'm not sure it's gonna get done. With full disclosure or not, Rajon Rondo is my favorite player in the NBA, so I would love for this to get done. I mean, Rondo coming to the Knicks would completely change the culture here for New York. He's an extreme competitor. He never gives up on any play. He's absolutely a leader, and with having him and Melo on the same side of the court, he can easily distribute the ball, take a little pressure off of Carmelo Anthony there, and be able to get other players involved, get the three-point shot, perhaps dropping a little more than it has been as of late, get some defense on the other point guards. He's a great rebounder as well. Maybe not the best shooter, but they don't really need scoring out of that position. And also, big news if you're a Knicks fan, getting Rajon Rondo here almost guarantees that Carmelo Anthony will be back next year to have a solid core to build around. With Rajon Rondo, Carmelo Anthony, Chandler as the center, Hardaway Jr., who's been amazing. You'll still have J.R. Smith. You have good pieces to build around when the offseason comes up this year. So that'll be just an insurance policy if they can get Rondo. And again, I don't think it's going to happen. They have a couple of days to make this trade final. Let's see if anything else does break in terms of that. And speaking of breaks, we are going to take a quick break here at Overtime. 1:26 right now. Back in about 4 minutes here, and we're going to get to some quick music and then some more sports updates, and especially your Olympic updates here. For Shane DiMaio, it's WSIA Staten Island 88.9 FM.